everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is my plant update Tuesdays, and like always we start with the roses because I have to run them back into the fridge because we're trying to fake winter here. So here are my rose seeds. They're still in a seed form, it looks like, but I've been checking these every day, so they still look the same. They're still moist. The first date they gave me for these to start sprouting is September something. The first date is September 11th, which is my mom's birthday. So they're still moist. Nothing about them yet. No sprouting or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them back in the fridge as quickly as possible. And now we're going to move on to my aloe plant. So here's my aloe. We keep it in the kitchen because I burned myself. So it's a good thing to have in the kitchen. So if you are like me and you're kind of accident prone and you burn yourself every few months, which is mine, then you're going to want one of these guys in your kitchen. The soil is still wet, so I'm not going to water this guy. Soil still feels wet, so no worries there. So now we're going to move to my Christmas cactuses. Here's one. The soil is a little dry, so I'm just going to take a feel of it. Yeah, it feels dry, so I'm just going to use my distilled or rainwater that I'm collecting now. And I'm just going to put this just a little bit in. This is my distilled water. I can't say that for some reason. So I'm just going to put a little bit, there we go, in there. So now I'm going to check my other one, which is starting to look better. This big guy right here I was worried about, but seems to be doing great. Yeah, the soil is dry on that one too. So I'm just going to water that guy as well. I love this soil. I have Miragrow potting soil that's water control, which means it only feeds your plant when it needs it. That way, you're not over-watering it. And there we go. So there is my aloe and 2 of my 3 Christmas cactuses. I have one over here. This guy right here. This guy, I wasn't too worried about this guy because it looks green, it looks healthy. So I'm just going to feel the soil. Yeah, it needs to be watered too. So I'm going to do what I did before, move some stuff around, and just put a little bit of water. Because it is a cactus and it's mostly dry all the time, so I'm just going to put a little bit, there we go, in, and let the soil suck up the water and it'll feed the cactus as it needs to be. But today is a special day for my orchids because today I found out if you use distilled or rainwater, you have to add fertilizer. So at least my Phalaenopsis orchids get all the nutrients it needs. So I'm going to go grab a plate because my third one, my very big one, has a lot of roots and I don't want water to get everywhere. So I'm just going to grab one of my plastic plates that we use because it's better doing this just every day. That's just how I roll. So here is my first Phalaenopsis, which is still in my ICU here, but it's growing quite well. The last time I posted pictures on my group, people said I had too much water, but I have Phalaenopsis orchids and they're heavy feeders, so that's why I have so much water in them. But the leaf is growing, which makes me really happy. So I'm going to set this guy on the plate. I'm going to rinse out this water, and I'm going to show you how I add my fertilizer. So just rinse that out. There we go. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do my fertilizer. So I have my first orchid. Set that guy to the side. Here's my second one. This guy has been showing like lots of improvement. It's growing new roots, it's growing a leaf, try to show you guys the leaf. I just cut back the stems just a little bit. They weren't too damaged. Well, this one was damaged. It's bent when I got it. But this one wasn't too damaged. I just cut them back just a little bit. It's just my preference. After they bloom, I like to cut them back a few. So here's this guy. I always check because this guy had mold on him. So I'm always like checking for new mold just to be safe. And there goes that guy. I'm going to rinse this out as well. And if you've seen last week's video, you know that I transferred this guy. I transferred this guy last week, and he's been doing quite well. The leaves are still firm, and look at all those beautiful roots that are still healthy. I love it. So I'm just going to sit this guy down. I'm going to check his roots while I clean this out. I didn't have a clear one. I just used this. All my clear containers weren't big enough. Oh yeah. Yeah, I heard some people had issues with their orchids. There was like lots of root rot and stuff, but mine seems to be doing quite well. So right now I'm just checking the roots here. Well, that one just fell off, didn't it? Which tells me it was already dead. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking all my roots here to make sure that they are firm and not mushy, which is what I do every time I fertilizer. So now I'm going to show you my fertilizer. I use Miracle Grow. At the time when I was trying to get fertilizer, it was the best I could find for orchids. It came with a spoon, depending which one you have is the amount decide you use, and the fertilizer. It's a pretty blue. I like that. And you're supposed to fertilize every 2 weeks with this stuff. So I'm going to get my little measuring cup here. Kind of measuring cup. So this is my measuring cup because it says on the box how much fertilizer you're supposed to use per gallon. You're supposed to mix a half a tablespoon per gallon every 2 weeks. That's what it says, every 2 weeks. So I'm just going to pour, because what I found out, if you use rainwater or distilled water, which is recommended for orchids, you need to add fertilizer to them. So I'm just going to add, I need to add a lot of water. So that's probably about a gallon right there. So I'm just going to use 1 scoop. So if you get the fertilizer in a box and it comes like this, you have this little tie right here that ties it back for you, which is awesome. Or if you use little spikes that do it naturally. I don't use those. I like to be in control of it. So the big scoop is for outside plants and the small scoop is for inside plants. So I'm just going to use a small scoop, put it in like that. Then I'm going to tie this guy back up and put it back in its box. And I won't have to do this again for another 2 weeks, which is good. Some people fertilize it twice a month. Always don't fertilize at the end of the month. That way it gets all the salt and stuff out. Just put the spoon back. I'm going to go get another spoon so I can mix it up. So here's my spoon. So this is what it looks like right now. It's just that. So I'm just going to mix it up some. So I mix this well so I can put it in each of the cups. So I don't have to do this every time I do an orchid. So there's that. Now I'm going to get my first. No, I'm going to use the big guy. I'm going to do the big guy because I can't get to the smaller orchids. So I know you won't be able to see how full I put this, but I'm just going to do a little eyeballing here. Yeah, that should be enough. And then I'm going to grab my big guy here. And I'm not kidding when I say big guy. He is big. And I'm just gonna place him neatly, let him fall the way he's gonna fall because he never stays straight anyway. So what is the point? I let the roots go where they want to go because some are arrow roots, some are they stay in. So don't force the roots to go in. I don't do that. I just place him neatly, just let him do what he wants. So there's that guy. And he likes to fall over on me. I try to keep him nice and steady, but sometimes it doesn't work. So here is my second orchid that I bought. I have a line on here so I can see how much. There we go. So it's like a blue coloring. So here's my second guy. He's not a big guy, he's just a little small guy. So I'm gonna put him in here as best as I can, which is like that. So there he is. And then my last one, which I keep in this guy. Also, I have a line on here so I know how much to put in, which is like that. And I have some left over, which is going to go in the big guy, because the big guy has lots more roots. And I'm just going to put this guy in like that, as much as possible. And again, if I get comments that it's too much water, I have Phalaenopsis orchids. They're heavy feeders, trust me. So now I'm going to go back to my big guy. And I'm just going to pour from the side, nowhere near the crown. So I'm just going to pour from the side and put the rest of the fertilizer in here because he's probably going to eat more than anybody else. Because he has so many roots and stems and leaves. So he's probably going to eat more. So there he is. He's so big. I wasn't even kidding in saying he was a big guy because he's big. So those are my orchids. And that is going to do it for today. I hope you are having a wonderful Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my plants and the progress we have had so far. Please come in next week and we'll see what they look like. Hope to see you again.